Welcome to Echoes in the Wind. I'm Donna, your psychic medium, clairvoyant.
I'm Kenny. Make sure to like, share, and follow here on Parallax, Facebook, and YouTube.
We have an amazing show for you tonight. Couple of guys that we can really relate to with our roots, and it is RezNeck and Shawn.
Yay!
Drum roll.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank
So,
you for coming.
so how we doing tonight?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Living the dream.
Hey, Barbara. I'm going to start sharing out.
Oh, so I guess I got to kick it off. Okay.
Kick it off.
All right. RezNeck. I was watching your show and I was very intrigued by it. We don't see too many shows with, well, I haven't on the internet on my side with Native Americans. So then I saw Shawn on your show that night, and there was just his energy and everything that just drew me in. Kimmy, shut up. So I don't know who wants to start off and tell us a little about yourselves.
Well, I'll kick it off. I'm RezNeck. I'm Stockbridge Muncie Band of Mohicans enrolled member. I'm also a cryptid investigator, paranormal investigator with a Wisconsin-based team, Cryptids Anomalies in the Paranormal Society. Shawn happens to be one of my best friends, a man I consider a brother to me. You know, go way back here. So what do you want to say, Shawn?
My name's Shawn Stevens. I'm also an enrolled member of the Stockbridge Muncie Band of Mohicans. I do a lot of things. I'm a Mohican language scholar. I'm an artist. I do a lot of Native American crafts and regalia making. Musician, flute player, drummer, singer, dancer, ceremonial facilitator as well. What we call a helper. We call a helper amongst my people here. And I like playing guitar and watching Seinfeld on TV.
Classic.
I'm not even talking
That's an
about.
oldie.
Yep. Kramer is always my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kramer.
But I follow a Native American path called the Red Road, and it basically is a way of discovery of tangible experience in the spirituality. I've been doing that for probably at least 30 years. And one of my things was of getting back to indigenousness, the mindset of being indigenous. And for me, it's not a racial thing of what indigenous is. Indigenous basically means where you come from, and trying to take Native American culture, history, and teaching and sharing it, outside of our own reservation with non-Native people, helping them remind them of their own indigenous ancestry and cultures and such, and to help come together to get people to get that reconnection back to Mother Earth that we're all connected to her, and what we do to Mother Earth, we do to ourselves. So it's a way that I'm taking these teachings, which are all a lot of Native American prophecy, from the Hopi prophecy, the Rainbow Children prophecy, the White Buffalo Cat prophecy, people coming together, in these times when the earth is really going to need it, especially during times of climate change and pollution and all this stuff. That we need to get everybody, remind them that we are all have that indigenous background and the indigenous background. We let the dogs out.
Yeah, that's my titties over here.
But it's all about sharing. I've
Amen,
worked my journey,
Anthony.
and now I share with other people.
That's great.
Yep. Because I've done a lot of ancestors. My great grandmother was was Blackfoot, and then I think 3 or 4 generations back was where I found the Cherokee. So I really appreciate, people who, 'cause especially somebody who I know nothing of my indigenous side. So, the more you learn, the more you're able to connect. So,
Yeah, my mom is Blackfoot from she's French Canadian Blackfoot from Canada. She came over when she was just little over here in Boston area, the border. And then my dad is Cheyenne. So I know a little bit, but a lot of things like our abilities, my mom always kept, aside. And it's like, I felt it since I was 5 or 6. It's like, Ma, you can't keep holding this back. It's going to happen. And it did. My kids, my grandkids, you know what I mean? It's like she was trying to stop the inevitable. You can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is going to happen, especially those of us that are gifted and choose to tune into it.
Exactly. Yep.
mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know, like, what other things can you tell us, Shawn? Some stories and.
Well, on my for I guess for my journey, it started because I grew up in a semi-Christian household. When I say that, mom and dad didn't go to church, but they'd send us off with grandma sometimes, And my grandmother, she was one of the most devout Christian women that I knew. She lived her whole life being blind, raised 2 kids on her own, and she had this tremendous faith that I always, was amazed with, and because I never heard her complain, never heard her feel like she got screwed in life and, what she had to deal with and things like that. She took care of what she had to do. She did a very good job of it. And she was so devoted. I remember as a kid thinking that God lived at grandma's house. That's where God lived.
Aw.
Because she was just so devoted and such, But growing up, I've always been one of them people that I need to, I'm in searching of things tangible. You go to church and you hear of all these things that people have part of, in speaking with God and the angels and all that and stuff, but the rest of us don't, and I just, for me, it's like, why? I started questioning things, why, and the more I questioned it, the more it set me out on a journey of discovery, actually, of feeling that you can't just be told about God or life or anything like that. You got to get out and live and experience it. Get out there, and so I broke away from a lot of the dogma of some of the Christianity beliefs and such, and I started finding more people on my reservation when I was a young adult, moved back, who started doing more traditional things. Now, for a long time, a lot of our people on our reservation didn't do traditional things because of the intergenerational trauma and the mission schools that happened, back to the late 1800s into the 1900s. where they took away our languages, they took away our belief systems, and basically brainwashed children. They took all the children out of the home from 4 years old up to 18 years old, sent them off to schools, where very few of them ever got to come home and visit once before turning 18. And they are basically brainwashed, into believing that Native American way and culture and stuff was evil. It was terrible. You can't do this. You guys are gonna burn in hell if you practice these ways and such. And that a lot of people still had that faith or ideals up until the early 1990s. And now something really amazing happened in 1992. And that's where in Janesville, Wisconsin, same place I was born at, the white buffalo calf was born. Her name was Miracle, born to the Hyder family. Actually knew the son. I went to school with him. And the white buffalo calf, is a prophecy, coming true, basically saying, we people, we need to get back to our indigenous teachings because so many people have gone off that path. So many people have put it away and gone for sitting in pews and being told how to feel, told how to believe, and told everything, if it makes sense or not, and coming disconnected from the earth. Now, I don't want to take up the whole time telling you the whole prophecy, but basically it was the white buffalo calf woman who was a deity, to the Lakota people, came more than 2,000 years ago and gave a pipe, first sacred pipe, white buffalo calf pipe, to the people. And she taught them ways of living within community and in health, and a way of life, and also a spirituality, and just things that, that would make them good, strong, healthy people and being connected and respected to the earth. But she came with the warning that one day that the people will get away from their indigenous teachings. Very few will be following those teachings and such, and there's going to be a sign. But it's not just wasn't just the Lakota people; it's all over the world. The world is going to start to become sick, and there's going to be a sign, and that sign was the birth of the white buffalo calf. And nowhere in written history or native oral history had a white buffalo calf ever been born until 1992. And they just said that more would be born, and I think there's been a couple born almost every year since then.
Yeah.
But it was basically a call out to say, hey, we're in the time right now that people need to start getting back to the indigenous ways, understanding their connection to the earth. Things happen, like Chernobyl, all these oil spills, these pipelines, all this trash around in the oceans, and people are getting sicker, and a lot of these places are dumping this stuff you can't use for another 20,000 years. We're killing off the earth, we're poisoning the earth. And a lot of people they truly don't understand that we are a part of the earth. What the earth grows, we consume to make us what we are. We are a symbiont to the earth. We are earth, and so if we continue to keep poisoning, the earth is going to get rid of mankind. We will be gone, and so in order to save mankind and to save the earth, we have to get more people have this understanding that this is your mother. This is your mother earth. You must take care of it. She'll take care of you. It gives us everything we ever needed. And we can't let, greed, or corporate people trying to save a buck to go out and poison this earth and make it more poison. So where over there in the Hudson River, our people lived all along there for tens of thousands of years, gave us everything we needed, and now you can't swim in it. You can't eat the fish out of it. It's all poison. The people that came and kicked us out of there, they wanted our lands, they wanted our riverways, they wanted all that stuff, but they turned around and poisoned it and started poisoning their own people, even the Housatonic River, and this makes no sense that these life-giving entities that were giving everything that we needed, that they turn around and poison. And they just don't understand it because, they get their food somewhere else. A lot of people will think, well, you get your food from the grocery store. No, you really don't. It has to come from the earth. There's so much poisoning going. So many people over on that side getting sick. Even some they have like air pollution, a lot of bad poisonous air pollution over there. I believe where they had to have everybody huddle into their homes for like a couple hours because of something in the air, some kind of bad reading in
Oh
the air.
yeah.
It's just sad. It's sad to see. And that happens in a lot of other places too. And mankind is starting to forget that, we need the earth. The earth is us. We need to remember that this is something you go way back before organized religion, and that's all races. We all had our indigenous, connections and ideals,
Hey, Melanie.
whether it's from Europe or Africa or Asia, we all basically had that same respect and understanding for the earth and that we need the earth and to live simultaneously in harmony. But nowadays, people are poisoning it so much. And so this was a part of that, the prophecy is saying that we got to start doing it now. You people, especially natives, those of you who know your indigenous teachings and your cultures and way of life, you need to start practicing them again. And not only that, but share. The same thing kind of goes along with the Hopi prophecy and such, where people are going to come from many different colors of the rainbow, and there's going to be a new people form, the children, the warriors of the rainbow, that they will come together and they work together as a new tribe of people to work for the earth, to save the earth, because we keep poisoning it. And it's an exponential rate to where we've got to look at what we do now is going to affect our next 7 generations and beyond. And so for me, when I seen this happening, it was an amazing thing. I seen so many things that seemed to come to life physically and spiritually on reservations with Native people, other people who were starting to wanting to hear the bad stories, all the history of the Americans. It just seemed to open a big door. And it's weird to think that it was over 30 years ago, from now. But because it seems just like maybe a few years back that it happened. But I see no big growth in people changing around the reservation. There was people, Bobby, that little red house, that little brick house or stone house you were living in.
Yep.
Lady that lived there before your Morning Star.
My auntie.
She was more traditional, did her ways. And back then, the people around here called her a witch.
Yep.
So highly,
Wow.
When I first moved to the reservation, they were all talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh, your auntie was a witch, and I seen her turn into an orb and disappear. And I'm like, get the F out of here. Auntie wasn't a witch.
Yeah, and that was just that shallow mental way of the intergenerational trauma that they put on us to have us argue amongst each other. And so there's a lot of healing with Native Americans that we've been put through, a lot of trauma that we don't even realize sometimes that we deal with. I didn't realize until I went to the trainings to find out that it was done to us on purpose, just to keep us quiet and make sure that we never become a strong nation again. If we fight amongst ourselves, the government will never have to fight us again. That was their thinking, But seeing these things come to light, as tangible right in front of my eyes, and this isn't some kind of like, quirky Nostradamus, kind of foretelling where it could go in any kind of year or any century or whatever. It doesn't really go in
Right.
now it's real specific. Now, White Buffalo Calf was born. That's time. People need to start getting back to their original ways of teaching. That was the thing, like with the White Buffalo Calf, with Lakota people. Those teachings that our ancient people had, we need to get back to those again. Doesn't mean going back and living in huts and anything like that, but it's understanding our connection to the earth and to the universe as well. So that's a big part of I was learning a lot of this and just going along and talking. I never planned to be somebody who went and gave speeches and helped did things and stuff. I was just somebody who was learning and start sharing what I knew, and then the more I saw it, the more I was learning, and so I keep sharing that. I still don't look at myself as a teacher or anything like that. I'm a person on my own path, but I share anything that I've learned. And I know that we all as human beings are human beings on this planet that we need to shed a lot of this crap that the powers that be have put on us for the last, whoever, for us 500 years, or Europeans 1,000, 2,000 years and such like that, to shed a lot of that stuff and get back to, what's, more makes sense. What more is tangible? What can you see? And so on this journey going out there, and I've got too many stories that would take way too much time, but it was going out and actually trying to, have experience spirituality on my own. And for me, that's where I say I've met the creator. I've met creators everywhere. And it didn't make sense to me before. It makes a lot more sense to me now. That no matter where you go, and no matter how far I go from my home or my homelands or whatever on this earth, that's my mother right below me. I'm never lost. I'm never out of place. And that every human being is your relative. Science will show you that we share common genetics, and that it goes further beyond that. That science will tell you that we share genetics with every animal, and science will also tell you we share genetics with every plant, even fungus. So all life that comes from this earth comes from the same tree of life. We all are related. We're all interconnected. We're all one. So we have to respect everything that we see around us, as life-giving, and when we keep poisoning all these things and putting bad medicine everywhere, that's just going to come back on us or our children, our grandchildren, through the next 7 generations. And so it's getting people to have that understanding. It's like, wow, I can think these ways and practice these ways, and I don't have to be a Native American. No, you don't have to be. It really doesn't mean anything. Do you understand? Because a lot of people will tell me, well, they're Native American. I'm like, wow, and they'll brag about it. And I'll be like, so what do you do with that?
Right.
Being something. What do you do with it? It's one thing to be proud of your ancestry, but or what they may have done, but what have you done? We can't just say I'm proud and push off, any kind of, expectation off on the past. We have to act as what we're proud of as well, and being able to share when we have this good information, we have to share with all of our families all around the world. And so that's been my perpetual journey, even though I didn't really realize it all until it came together maybe 7 years ago, to where that was my path, my jet on what I was doing. I was just going out. People said, "Hey, you want to come over and talk over here?" Sure. That's all what I know. I don't know what we're talking about or anything, but the spirit guided me to be to be a person that comes from multicultural backgrounds, from a Native American tribal perspective, to not just be there to say, "Oh, cool, a Mohican." That means nothing to me. What means everything to me is the way of life, the teaching, the understanding of the indigenous connection, and let other people know that they could share that too. You're not so much Mohican, but you are a connected person to this planet, to this universe. You're connected to everything. And we just said, like we're talking about the quantum mechanics, that everything throughout the whole entire universe is connected, and it can be that energy can be transformed instantly across vast distances. So in a way, you say that Alfred Einstein was wrong, that there is something that can travel faster than the speed of light, but maybe it's really not distance that we're thinking of. That's maybe what we shouldn't be thinking of distance, because everywhere is here. Here is everywhere, And so coming into these understandings, and when we do our ceremonies, when we do our blessings, or we're practicing that Reiki and we're tapping into that energy of the earth and the universe, it's very real, and showing people that they have this. Everybody has this gift. Some are way more gifted, some are less. And it's something that you don't have to keep going until you reach the highest ring or whatever. You just get to where you're comfortable, and content, And so that's what I've been trying. Not that I've been trying. That's what I have been doing, for the last 7 decades, is trying to make that connection with all people. Not trying to stand out as one type of people or anything like that. Although, we do need to do a lot for our tribe and reestablishing our whom we are and that we are still here. At the Last of the Mohicans movie was just a movie. So it was just a big experience. That I don't know how it would be different if the white buffalo calf hadn't been born, but I've seen so much magic happen from when she was born up till now, and it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. People are so more accepting now. Like I said, even with our own people, we're not calling each other witches now because we're not Christian or anything. And that's in my lifetime. But things are so much better, and we're heading towards something good. But we have to keep doing good and sharing and spreading that word as well.
Yep.
That's what they call me. That's what they call me here. They think, I mean, they think I'm a witch.
But you know what, though? Within witchcraft, it comes with accountability. So, therefore, is witchcraft really bad? As long as you stay on the white side of things. You stay on the right side of things, you do good, you get good.
Yeah.
But the accountability comes in when you do the bad things. That comes back at you.
Yeah.
Right.
It does. Absolutely. It's kind of like the karma.
Yeah, the two
Whatever
wolves.
you put out there, it's gonna come back. If you put good things out there, good things will come back. You put bad things out there, bad things will come back. There are people that use what we call the bad and stuff. When you look at some of these people, and they're already miserable as all hell, and you wonder why, because they dwell on this stuff. It always comes back. There's a price to pay or a reward given, something that comes back for everything you do. So people, be careful in what you do. Be careful in what you say. Words are powerful. They're very magical.
Yeah.
So always try to put good out there as much as you can, because that's what's coming back.
Yep.
Because you ultimately attract what you put out.
Yeah. So, like attracts like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they would call me that, but that they do. But
they don't understand you, and they don't understand what you do and what you're about.
No, not at all. That's what I'm told all the time. They don't nobody understands in my journey.
Well, you see people like that. Do you know some of them people?
Yeah, right across the street from me.
Don't they seem like miserable people?
Yeah.
And that's their life. They think that's the only thing that gives them a little bit of happiness is to try to down somebody else, but it still doesn't help them. That's why you gotta say, you know what? That's too bad you feel that way, but you keep your misery over there because this is nothing but good energy here.
Yeah.
And they hate that even more. So they're so wrapped up in this misery, and they're throwing all these bad thoughts and intentions, and it's just coming back on them.
Yeah.
Especially when they see it doesn't bother you at all.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Brush it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cut them connections. That's one thing I was taught from a young age was, when people start throwing that at you, or cut them cords. Don't let it attach to you. Don't let it bring you down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I just laugh. When they say, I hear people snickering, and it's just like, yeah, okay. Whatever. Think what you want to think.
I'm going to go, hee. I'll get you my pretty in your little doggy tit.
I kind of laugh because it's like, do I scare you? To the people across the street, do I scare you? You think I'm a witch? But
right.
Whatever.
That's it. I know what I'm getting you girls for Christmas next year.
There's some fun with that,
But I don't let it bother me.
Ignore the haters.
Exactly. You know, like I told you before, shine bright. You
Yep.
know, don't let that negativity, that darkness in. So
Yeah.
let your shine, let it shine, baby.
You
Let it
know
shine.
what's
Let the
really
light
weird
shine
is
down.
Right.
really weird is past couple of months. I don't know if it's the energy out there or what, but I could be in the store, the gas station, even in the doctor's office, and I'll get people come up to me and they'll say, "Oh, I feel your energy," and I'll just look at them, and I'm looking at myself like,
That's stalkerish.
okay, you know, and then it depends on who it is. And then I'll say, like this one guy, I was pulling up to the store, just getting out of my car. He was walking up the street. So he yelled something at me. So I walked to the bottom, the bumper of my car, and I said, "Excuse me?" And he started talking, and he walked up, and he's looking at me, and I seen like the beads around his neck, the crystals, and on his wrist, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I just looked at him and I said, "Well, if you feel my energy, that's because you're intuitive. So you wouldn't feel my energy." Because I felt his, but
Yep.
I didn't feel good.
Well, people also can be drawn to your energy depending on how high you're vibrating. You know, it's just like a moth to a flame. You know,
Yeah.
that's one thing you always got to remember.
Well, I walked
Mhm.
away from him because I started seeing these crazy images and he wasn't good. So I just started walking away from him and put my wall up and kept going in the store. He followed me in the store and I just ignored him and just kept putting my wall up. That was it. Didn't want to hear nothing. He kept just going and going and going and going. And I didn't hear what he had to say. I wasn't listening.
Mm.
Not at all. He
Yeah.
looked evil in his eye. Long dreads and I don't know. I don't know what he was about, but I was getting bad images. I don't even want to say on here, but it wasn't good. It was dark.
And there's a lot of that darkness out there. You know,
I didn't want
yeah,
no part.
gotta stick to your true beliefs, your true faith, and
Yep.
you know, I work with the public every day, so I see a lot of different people, and
Mhm.
I actually remember one time I was sitting there doing some reading one day, and guy pulls up in a work truck, comes in, chit chats, goes out to his truck, stops, comes back in, and goes, "I feel a real godly presence in this station." I'm like, man, I'm just chilling, and explaining what I was reading. He's like, oh, kind of explained to him who I was and what I was, and it just like blew his mind.
hmm
I turned around and walked out, and I had never seen him since.
Yeah. Sounds helps
Wow.
with people who I am because, like, I'm a psychic medium or anything because they'll look at you crazy around here. I mean, I'm right near Salem,
Yeah,
so you got to be careful.
Yeah,
yeah.
but you're in like a heavily populated Catholic area, isn't it?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic, but don't matter around here. You say something like that, they're gonna be like, "I'm a witch."
As much as it's come mainstream with mediumship, it's still not 100% there and accepted everywhere yet.
Nope,
Right.
not.
Growing up in the spiritualist religion, both my parents were ministers. Having gifts at a young age. When it came time to go to school, it was like, okay, we're gonna kind of fold this back up, block it off, lock it away for now, because back then, even spiritualism, the Baptists were like, oh, you're evil, you're this, you're that, and the Catholics didn't really kind of understand what we were about, and so it was very interesting. But now spiritualism is so mainstream that it's not even just Christian spiritualism. There's Muslim spiritualists. There's spiritualists all across the globe from many different religions. And basically
Right.
what it is, it's just a form of mediumship
Yeah.
that, it's communication through spirit. The Christian side uses the Bible as a textbook. The other ones, they use different textbooks. It's all that interacting with spirit, though, which
Yeah.
I like because it kind of goes back to the native roots where everything has a soul. We interact with everything. So for me, it's been a nice, like a hybrid blend for me. I take a little bit from my roots, a little bit from what I grew up with, my culture, and I walk this path.
Yeah. See, my daughter, I saw she was having a reading from a friend of mine, and she's really good, my friend.
Hey,
She's
Rachel,
the only one I
welcome.
let in my energy. Now, my daughter's very gifted, and I'll get calls 3 o'clock in the morning. Ma, ma, ma. And I'm like, Tara, you either want these gifts or I'm going to tell you how to shut them off. You got to make the choice. I can tell you 3 sentences, shut them off. They're done. You got to make that choice. But if you shut them off, they're gone.
Not necessarily. You shut them off. They're still there. You still have them. It's just you have to acknowledge them, and
Yeah.
you learn to work between the two worlds.
Well, she's good. Now, I'll get calls. I'll be on with Kimmy sometimes. She calls me hysterical. Ma, I got this one here. She can tell me what the person looks like, their name, everything. And then I got this guy here and this, that. And I'm like, Tara, what do they want?
Exactly. They're
Ask
coming
them.
to her for a reason.
Exactly. Ask them what they want. Ma, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Tara, they're coming to you for a reason. I told you, Mom gets walkthroughs all the time. There's no way to stop it. Now, I've been told,
Well,
from
hold
certain
on.
people.
There is a way to stop it. You put that little neon close sign up and say
Yeah,
you're
certain
closed.
times I'm closed, I'm going to sleep, I'm closed, I'm busy.
Yeah, this is my time.
Yeah.
When that sign is green,
Yep.
then you can come interact,
Yep.
but you have to learn to set them boundaries.
You don't want to interact. Period.
Yeah.
It's always ma, ma, ma. So I'm like, okay, Tara. And I'm not going to keep doing this. I already told her. So it was a couple, they wanted to be passed on. But Ma, no, I don't want to use my gifts. I said, Tara, shut up. You're not using your gifts. I'm using mine. I'm going to cross them over. That's it. That's all they want is to be crossed over. So I crossed them over. And like she was paranoid because it was using her gifts. I said, I'm using mine. You just shush. And that was it. But it was like all the time she's calling me, Ma. I said, look, you either got to embrace him or let him go. That's it. And then a friend of mine just read her. Now, everything that I've been telling her, my friend read her and put it to the point right to her. And she said, that's exactly what Mom's been saying. She said, yeah, your mother knows what she's talking about. Listen to your mom. So I don't know where she's going to go with this, but I'm not going to keep getting these phone calls 3 o'clock in the morning.
She's got to put her big girl panties on and, take that first step herself.
Well, this is what the point I was going to make. Now, we were brought up Catholic. I raised my kids the same. Then being military, I was military wife for many years. And where we were down south, there was no Catholic. So we switched over Christian. So I wanted them somehow in a church. Well, she married. They're very Bible thumpers. I don't know. She watches this show, but he don't. I don't care if he does. But anyway, well, not what I heard that they call me. Not now. So she was telling her, she really wants to embrace her gifts, but she's scared. That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, and then,
Oh,
whoa, I thought I had a big doggy. She's over here asleep. So, they're really Bible thumpers, Catholic, all the way. So the way she said it to her was, I'm the devil. And she don't want to be called the devil like her mom. Because they call me the devil. Because my gifts. So she don't, you know what I mean? If hers come out and her
well,
husband finds out, then she's the devil like her mom.
hold on. If they're calling you the devil because you work with spirit communication, they're not as big as Bible thumpers as you think they are, because it states right in the Bible there is spirit communication several times throughout the Bible.
Yep.
Now, if you want, I'll pause this. I'll go get a workbook right now. I can probably give you 10 different examples.
Oh, I already know how they put their hands on people and everything else.
Just even the communication and the spirit showing themselves to people.
Yeah.
It's all over the Bible.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Bible is, like
it's a book of stories.
My Christian household. Yeah, and growing up as a kid, I mean, it had, going to church and stuff, it had me scared. That you had to be like loyal to God out of fear,
Yeah.
And but when I got old enough, and so, it's like, I'm tired of people telling me what to, I was starting to read it,
yeah.
I'm like 19, I'm starting to read it.
Yeah.
And I realized that a lot of the shit I was told never says anything in there, in the Bible like that. Now, you
Yeah.
take all the biblical stories and you look at them as morals of the story and stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in there, But the problem is when you got other people, preachers or whatever, trying to tell you what it means to them, and they don't even want you to even think about questioning it.
Yep.
And
Right.
as
Mhm.
old as these religions are, I mean, people only really begin and even be able to read for themselves on a bigger scale in the last 400 or 500 years.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of the organized religion is just out of power, to keep power over people.
Yep.
And if you go against anything, then you're like the devil, or you're like Jezebel, or
Yeah.
or these people that they put up into these in the Bible and ancient Hebrew texts as being uh, uh, um, possessed by that evil person or whatever. And they did that against women for a long time. If you're a woman who spoke out or whatever, you were possessed by Lilith or whatever, who's an evil succubus and just terrible, because how dare any woman talk over a man, kind of thing. They use it just for,
Right.
terrible enforcing what they wanted,
Yeah.
So, but when you read it as stories and stuff, it has a whole different meaning than what these preachers and people are telling me. And that's why
Mhm.
it threw me off on organized religion. That's why a person needs to get out and actually experience for themselves.
That's what turned my daughter off too.
Yeah.
It turned her off because the way they are, it turned her off.
Right.
Yeah, it boils down to that common phrase of, it's the intent of the practitioner. It doesn't have to be boiled down to religion. It's who's giving that sermon, who's doing that spell, who's working with what energy. It's all about intent.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I read the Bible and I started reading about Jesus and stuff. I was like, wow, this guy sounds like a pretty cool dude,
Right.
hanging out with him. But then, and you get these other people telling you, guys in the Bible, if you don't get your child baptized and they die, they're going to go to hell. They're
Oh
going to
yeah.
hell. And
Oh
I'm thinking,
yeah.
what kind of religion are you guys, following if that's the rules? That you don't have a God or a higher being that can sympathize or understand that children are innocent.
I was just gonna say that. How can
Yep.
a baby go to hell when they're innocent? They haven't done
Right.
anything.
Right. And it
Yeah.
doesn't say nothing about that in Bible books. It's usually some person who wants control over people, make them all do what they want them to do.
Yep.
And that's what scares people, like any of us that who would have been burned at the stake, 800 years ago,
Oh yeah.
because they can't be
Yep.
controlled. They can't control our spirit. That's what they want. They control people's spirituality. So you got absolute control over the people.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm right here near Salem, so I would have been burnt at the stake right like that.
Not medium rare.
Pussy.
I would have been
Say
Chris.
hi.
I would
Yeah.
have been like a sinners and sisters. I'm coming back in 400 years to fuck y'all up.
Yep.
I'll see you next time around.
Right, exactly.
But
I'll be
Karma.
back.
there's been so much about, especially with natives and such, and every different tribe is different. Has different culture and such. So a lot of them say, the devil never existed here until 1492. And what they mean is that they didn't have an ultimate evil being against all good. To kind of push, the faults of mankind off on this being, instead of realizing, no, we have negative, we have good and evil in all of us.
Yep.
And so a lot of people say, "Oh, that's the devil. Devil, overtook them and whatever, did this or did that or whatever." No. I think that we all have that within ourselves, like with they call Wendigo spirit. And Wendigo spirit is like a spirit of negative things. That the more you feed it, the larger it grows, and the more it grows, the more you have to feed it. And of course, it keeps going. The more you feed it, the more it grows.
Now,
So now, what to ensure it doesn't happen? You don't feed those things. Everybody has human thoughts, human ideas.
yes.
Sometimes you might think of something, like somebody made you mad or whatever. You don't kick somebody down a flight of stairs. There might have been a good reason for it, but you just don't do it.
Right by the backside.
We have thoughts. We're human. So
Push him right down the hill. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But there's like we were talking in our conversation way earlier about evil and stuff, and somebody else had a conversation about is money evil and such, and the only things that are evil is how humans use it. You decide to use whatever is power, money, whatever. Money can be medicine, but it can be evil too, depending on the individual.
Yep.
So
Right.
that stuff's evil. You got to give away from that. It depends on each individual. You got to fight those things.
That's true.
Those are the things that we're born with that we have to wrestle with to become better people. So I don't believe in a lot of the. I mean, not that I don't know. I could be wrong as anybody, but I really don't believe in the one top evil force as the devil or whatever that is against all good and all things and such in this biblical sense. I know that there is positive energy and then there is negative energy. There's both, and maybe some people, put up a face or an image or whatever that represents that side, but we can't just shove it off on and say that was the devil. The devil made me think that. The devil made me do. No, you got to control yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I want to ask a question if I can. I don't want my cameras to go crazy, so Charlie behave. And Star and Eagle, y'all behave.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Because my cameras go nutso. So I'll switch blocks and everything. But anyway. I have a friend on here. Being a Native American, and she wanted me to teach her on something. being where I have a house full of Native Americans all the time, family, guides, the whole shebang, constantly. She asked me to explain, I won't say the word, shapeshifter to her. But she wanted me to say the other word. And I wouldn't
I'll
say
say
the
it.
other word. No, not in my house.
I'm not in your house. I'm in my house.
Yeah, you are, but you're on camera. You're
Oh,
in
God, don't get
camera
her
in my
started.
house.
Don't
Now,
get her started, Rez.
see
Don't
where
get
you're
her
going to
started.
started with medicine men that supposedly went negative. They learned the shape shift to hit the tops of the mountains to get certain sands for each one of the mountains down in the 4 categories. And you have to do something pretty bad to become the common version of that story. You know.
It's
I
existence of
actually,
misery,
huh?
and it becomes an existence of misery.
Exactly. You know, I actually had a chance to speak with Hero from Unearthing the Supernatural, who's Navajo from down in Arizona way, and he kind of broke down how it says in their legends, in their lore, in their history about shapeshifters, and it's pretty interesting. You know, because basically when you go become a medicine man, you have to make it to each top of these mountains in a certain amount of time, and then come back to your home, if I remember correctly. And like I said, they taught this so they could get there faster. So they get to the tops of the mountains, get them sands and them stones that they need, and keep moving. You know, but that misery, just like anything negative, you let it take control of you, you're going down the wrong rabbit hole.
Mhm.
You know, you're feeding the wrong wolf. And then there was silence.
I was just watching a documentary on these. I want to say they were maybe
We'll
now
talk backstage.
about the shapeshifter people, and that they have this cave in this mountain area where it was like a place that these people would go and practice their becoming shapeshifters. And there was huge sacrifices to make to become a shapeshifter.
Yes.
And one of them was that you had to take the life of somebody that you love.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not somebody that you think's just a piece of shit or whatever. It's like somebody that you love. And just to be a shapeshifter. And it's like, how could you do that and not be miserable the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know. Like I said, there's only so far I want to go. That's far I'm going.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Well, this is why I was trying to explain to her, like, I'll only go so far with that. That's it.
Hey, Crystal Rose, thanks for coming on.
And she couldn't understand.
That's my niece
Why?
there.
Oh,
What is
hi.
Wish I could like some of the comments, but I don't know how to do that.
I got my other phone up here, so I'm watching the comments while we're doing this and trying to like them as we go.
Yeah.
I ain't got one of them fancy laptops working. I gotta get mine set up.
Well, I want to go back. Shawn has to get off early.
No, I gotta get off at 10.
Chris does at 10.
So we got another hour.
Oh, okay.
We got an hour.
Yeah, because I want to really get some insight on something that my son keeps worrying about with me.
Well, hey, we're friends on Facebook. We can
Every
talk anytime.
comes, yeah.
Shawn, you're making me want to have a cigarette.
I've been trying to. I've been talking to a couple people about it, and
Light it up, light it up.
they keep telling me,
Fire. Spit it out, Donna.
Blech. I don't know if I went down the hole.
Just say it.
Just say it.
I don't want to say it online.
All right, then we'll talk another time.
Yeah.
On to the next topic then.
When we go backstage.
But going back to that medicine, good medicine, bad medicine.
Yeah. How about
it's all medicine, and it all depends on how you use it. And there's a price or a reward to receive after using it too.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always, regardless.
Okay, so Shawn. Now, me being a healer, I was told that I have shamanism in me also. I don't think I want to go down the shamanism route because that's like a lifetime thing, right? Is there any way to be a medicine woman alone?
Absolutely. See, that's like when I was explaining before, like around here, we don't have words. Well, we don't use the word shaman at all.
Okay.
And very rarely you hear anybody say anything about medicine woman. My mentor had put it perfect because I called him a medicine man. And he's like, look, please don't call me that. Like, I don't even know what a medicine man is. Is it a guy who's got medicine or what kind of medicine? It could be anything. He's like, what I am is a helper. And when I tell people that I'm a helper, whether it's in with healing herbs or with ceremony or singing, song, drumming, whatever, it explains to people what I do. But most importantly, it reminds me that that's all that I am, is that I'm a helper. And you have that humility that, it's like, oh, I'm a master of so-and-so and whatever. It's you got to have that humility. And there's, like Bobby was saying before, there's like a spectrum. You don't have to be full blown what you think of a medicine man or woman is. You can just do work on parts of those subjects, whether it's just like with herbs, maybe it's just like with doing your readings. It's helping, being a helper.
Okay.
A helper, a light worker.
Okay.
Right. And you take on what you feel only that you need in your toolbox to do what you need to do. There is no agenda that you have to set. You don't say, okay, now, whatever, you're a medicine helper. You just are.
Okay.
And you do that for people, and you don't have to live up to anything. So many people say, well, I'm a shaman or I'm a medicine man. And so many different people have different things in their head what that means. So they expect things or whatever, and they don't even know what you do. So when you say I'm a medicine helper, it's the best way of putting it. But you have your toolbox of what you do. You choose that you're comfortable with.
So instead of saying I'm an energy healer, I can say I'm a medicine helper.
You can do both. It's up. What do you feel that makes it feel right for you?
Okay.
Because that was a big thing, for a lot of us. So how does it make us feel right? Because when language is such a tricky thing, because when you say certain things, how can I say it simply where people can understand but not overthink or assume as well? But you can say an energy healer, a medicine helper, it makes it, I think more in that way people get and understand, but they'll question more, okay, what are the things that you do? Because there's so many different medicine helpers and such. I think from what we would originally think of what a shaman, a medicine man, a medicine woman is, that they really even exist. We don't really think of what all the things that they are able to do, and we put them up on this pedestal and everything. And that's one of the other things is never let anybody put you on a pedestal. My one of my mentors, he said, don't put me on no pedestal. He's like, I was a sailor, and once you're a sailor, you're always a sailor,
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, but I choose to live my way of life, but I am human. I'm a human being. I have human reactions, human thoughts, and stuff like that. So When people put you on a pedestal so high and then you act human, all of a sudden you fall way below in their
Yeah,
mindset, because you did something human.
yeah. When
Right.
I do my healings, like I do it remotely.
Mhm.
Mostly I've been doing remotely because I don't really do much here. Um, except for my 5-year-old grandson when he needed open heart surgery. It was 3 valves. Then when he went in, it was only one. Um, I do it because I love helping people. Just like the other thing I do with the cases, I do it because I love helping people. That's more where I go with my gifts, is what I love to do is helping people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, it explains to people fully without hopefully them not putting you too high up on a pedestal. And I always tell people, I like to talk about sharing and unity, passion and empathy, with their fellow people, and try to break bread with your enemies and stuff like that. But who knows? You might walk up behind me someday yelling at some guy to go screw himself with a sharp stick. I don't know. But it happens that day. Okay. And I'm human.
Right?
I'm human. I have triggers. We all have triggers that will derail us from what we're trying to be on and stuff. But
Yeah.
that's part of being human as well.
Yeah.
To say, oh, I thought you were supposed to be this big spiritual person that's not supposed to have that stuff bother them and shit. Bullshit.
Oh,
Human,
okay.
you know, and that's I think that's
Mhm.
freedom. When you look
So
at
we can still be
freedom,
human and in the light and
Yeah.
still be human.
mhm,
Be yourself, no
yeah,
matter what.
right.
Don't answer that too much.
Hey, I ain't perfect.
I
I ain't
You
let
no
don't
Don-
want,
saint.
yeah, nobody
I
wants
let
no
Donna
gangsta
out of her
Donna.
cage about, I don't know, a couple months ago. I put the
Yeah.
old Donna in a cage,
Oh,
and when
Riz,
they
you're
took
dealing with
down
a
my
paranormal,
page,
right? Okay.
and my Facebook, man, she came roaring out of that cage. But I didn't put it back. Not the only reason I didn't put it back was because I need her strength for my abilities. I figured that out. I needed her strength. But then I want to tame the rest of her, her
Huh?
mouth. I want to tame that
Got
part.
Donna
You
and
talk
Mafia Donna.
Yeah,
you
everybody
talk
says,
about, the other Donna, I can relate to that.
yeah,
I grew up in
I'm a
Chicago in
twin.
the 90s. All right.
Yes,
So
see?
I was a thug. I was an asshole. I didn't care who you were or what you had to do with. If I was coming after you, I was going to get you one way or another.
Well,
And
I was always
here
the
I've
type,
come
I never
completely
came
different.
after nobody. But
Wow.
if you come after me,
Chicago.
I'm going to come at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't going
Um,
to sit there and take it.
Nancy asked,
Exactly.
"Where in Wisconsin?" I'm your Minnesota neighbor. LOL.
Oh. Oh, so you guys are from Minnesota,
No, we're from Wisconsin.
No,
Wisconsin. So I didn't even
Wisconsin.
realize that.
Nancy's in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I've been to Wisconsin.
We're in between Green Bay and Wausau.
Yep. Call us Northwoods.
Yeah.
Now, where
Northwood.
is there, I don't
But
know if you guys would know this, but where is there, um, I just,
Brain fart.
reservation close to me in Massachusetts?
there isn't any, I don't think.
I don't think so
Not that I can
either.
think of.
I've
No,
been
I
looking
don't
and
think they have any
looking.
federally recognized. You probably have to go down Connecticut for Pequot, Mohegan, and
Yeah,
Pequot
but do they accept just every tribe or,
for membership.
yeah,
No,
or just,
no, you have to prove lineage.
yeah.
No, you can also go to their powwows. Most of their powwows are open to the public.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
different events, stuff
Do
like
you
that.
have to show lineage for powwows?
No,
Mm-mm.
you know, we have
It's
a
open to
veterans
everybody.
powwow. We have a veterans powwow every year that's open to the public right up in our park on the reservation there. And you know, it gets bigger and bigger every year. And you look around, you see more and more new faces that you don't recognize.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to be able to show my lineage, at least on my mom's side. She's been just finally telling me different things at 89 years old.
Mm.
And she was telling me it was her grandfather, how they messed up the name when they came over the border. It was Rainbow. And then when they came over, they put it in Boo. Like she was telling me all this stuff. And I remember her saying it a long time ago, but now I've been asking her, but I don't know. She said this is the bad thing. Where they were in Canada, the church where all the papers were back that many years ago burnt down. So she can't even get any papers if she wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Canada's real strict on that.
So what do you do when that happens? Like the church burnt.
For up
That's
there,
what
I
they
wouldn't
tell
know.
me.
You go on the faith of what you already know and go forward with life.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to go to any reservation and
You can go to any reservation.
no, I'm saying to like legalize myself in the reservation. Oh,
You'd have to go to your own reservation where your people are from in
yeah, but
order
that's
to do
what I'm
that.
saying.
So
The,
that is lost, but you can still live your life by the native ways through the beliefs of the culture and live as a native. To live as a native, you don't need an enrollment card. You
yeah,
don't need a piece of paper saying who you are because you know who you are.
yeah,
You know, I have an enrollment card, and I joke with all the white guys that I work with over the years. I tell them straight up, all that means is I'm government property. My name and number is listed somewhere in a book in Washington, and
True.
if they wanted to, they could herd us up like cattle and move us along.
Oh wow.
You know,
Yeah.
that's as simple as what it is.
All tribes are nations. And in this country, there are many nations within this nation. And
Yeah.
we're still under the control of the United States government. You know, our reservations are basically open door prison camps. Kind of. We can't
Kinda.
Yeah.
had before. We
Yeah.
can't be on the old lands that we had before. We're here as long as we're being have. You know, they let us out once in a while.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, my mom, the last time I was on the phone with her, she called me back like 20 minutes later and she said to me, I was talking with Kimmy, and she called me back and she said, Donna, La Sauvage, La Sauvage. I said, Ma, what are you saying? You got to remember, she's 89 now. She's on medicine. So she said, La Sauvage. I said, Ma, I'm pretty sure I know what that means. Why are you saying that? Because we were raised in Catholic and the schools, and they taught us French, which is French Native American. So I said, what are you saying that for? So she said to my stepfather, how do I say that to her in English? So I said, Ma, I think I know what you're saying. Why are you saying this? And she was just losing it. She's like, La Sauvage, La Sauvage. And she said it was, what she can remember was her grandfather, those people, the white man then in Canada, they would point. If you were too red skinned, too dark skinned, La Sauvage, which means the savage, and said, Ma, that's not cool. And she said that's how they were.
Country.
Like, she remembers all the bad things, but you got to remember when she came over, she was little. So she remembers all the bad stuff. I'm glad she remembered all the names and stuff, though. I wrote that down. But it ain't going to help me with the church burnt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading a comment here, not to change the topic here. Arthur Mills is confused about why Native Americans appear to be more susceptible to becoming ghosts or are more often associated with the paranormal.
You don't want to go to heaven.
Not every house that's built on a burial ground is haunted by natives,
Hey,
guys.
David.
That's just the movies. That's a lot of BS. When it comes to some of the hauntings, quote unquote, it's just the natives wanting to be acknowledged. They want the land to be healed. They want to be honored for the time that they were there, and they want Mother Earth to be honored. It's not that they're more acceptable. I've had many interactions with white people that were ghosts and people of other cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta watch. You gotta learn to hit that bullshit button once in a while when you hear these stories.
Yep.
We're not in a movie. We're not living in the poltergeist house.
Because they say, what they're trying to say is, when you hit a native burial ground, it is good to do an offering. That is good. That's out of respect. But they're saying when you hit a native burial ground, that's like the worst thing you want to hit, is for natives to come at you.
But here's the thing, if you think about it, Turtle Island, this whole continent, is a native burial ground.
Yep.
Every inch of this land, somebody has been buried on at one point, time or another, through time's existence. So if that was the case, every building, every home, every structure, our people would be sitting there, haunting you.
No, if
that's
they
not
would
the
think
case.
about it, Native Americans, we're the first ones here.
Yep.
And that's what they don't think about. So
Exactly.
There are places all over the world. When you look at the Earth, and the Earth has these energy lines, ley lines.
Ley lines, yep.
Sometimes these ceremonial places and burial grounds are near these ley lines, which are very powerful energy places as well. And I think a lot of times when people are thinking that it's restless or angry spirits or whatever, it's just a very high-powered crossroads of those ley lines.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to build my house on one.
No.
I might go do ceremony there sometime, but to live there, and that's where they try to, there's spots where there's positive energies. There's spots where there's probably negative energies.
Yeah.
And those people who had the empathic feeling of being able to understand them know that those spots, are usually meant for certain things and not really for human habitation.
Right.
So that's where a lot of places you can kind of open up a doorway of some stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I remember there was a comedian years ago I seen. It was a all native panel. First time ever they assembled a bunch of comedians that were all native. I think it was a Showtime or HBO special. And the one's talking about, everything's haunted by built on a native burial ground, and if you look, it's all white hauntings. He's like, what the hell? We get relocated into the afterlife too, or what? And it's a lot of times that's what I think it is. It's other things that are, contributing this. It's not just
why are we
the native aspect.
And I shouldn't put this out there. I'm not trying to be mean, But Arthur, these are my guests, and I'd appreciate it if you don't go hitting up my guests on that situation.
I didn't have no problem with the message.
No, something totally different. I would just appreciate it and thank you if you just don't bother them with that.
Okay, so on another note.
Right? Hold on, I hear my pit's scratching at the door. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, he meant his armpits were itchy.
Right. There's cornrows for that, Rez. There's cornrows for that.
Oh,
I'm not trying to be mean, Arthur. It's just, please don't do that with my guests.
So is there like, as far as, like, I know you don't you're not a paranormalist, right? Like, you don't go investigating, right? Or do you?
me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
No.
is there, like, stories of Bigfoot and how to, I guess, how does the indigenous like Bigfoot and, like, what are their stories on the on, like, Bigfoots and cryptids and
Awesome question.
Well, Bigfoot, many Americans believe is an interdimensional being that travels in between dimensions. Also considered a protector of the children, protector of the woods. A lot of people have a fear of running into Bigfoot. I mean, they're probably the most gentlest creature of the forest that you could ever meet. I mean, you'd have a harder time with a rabbit, than a Bigfoot, But they do what they do, and we need to respect them, And I know a lot of people want to get out there and want to try to catch it on tape, catch one on, kill one, do that, and they have no need to, prove it. This is something that we know. I mean, even on our res, we have all kinds of sightings and such here.
wow.
But they're the interdimensional beings, and sometimes they're connected through orbs as well, traveling orbs through the woods. But yeah, they're here for a reason. Everything here is here for a reason. And at least with our stories, at least around here in the Menominee, there are no negative stories of where Bigfoot's attacking people or hurting people or being a pest in any way. They just get seen once in a while,
Right.
and they never bother. They never bother anyone. And so give them the same.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe in my belief with that, he's my big furry brother in the woods. Whenever I go out with the team, we're doing what they quote unquote call squatching. That's who I'm calling out to. I'm calling out to my big hairy brother, my big furry brother. I believe that, we've all lived in peace for years and that I have nothing to fear from him. And an interaction with him is welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it'd be a good idea sometime to have Tom Tulsey come on your show.
I'd like to have to get a hold of him.
He has a special relationship with the big feets.
Oh, wow.
That's a good question. I astroplane.
Yep.
I astral project, but I astral plane. And it's been with Bigfoot.
Okay.
Now, the first time it happened, right away, I looked for those little horns up there, and there isn't any. And the last one I had was just only 3 weeks ago. And it was almost like an astral plane, but it was almost like an out-of-body experience. And I'm watching myself talking to him. Long conversation, calm, everything was good, but I don't remember. Every time I've had contact with him, very good conversation. Like, I don't even know the conversation, but I know it was good. Very calming, very good. But I don't remember what we talked about. Why is that?
They've said that before. That with Native Americans would say that the big for you, a lot of people can have an experience, but they can make you forget that you encountered them, especially if you can look them and then within the eyes. So maybe as a part of that, you're supposed to know that they are there, and you have these conversations and stuff. For some reason, is that they don't want you to let the rest of the world know what that conversation is about.
Oh,
I've heard that with many people, though, that say that you can have an experience with them and they can make you forget that you even seen one in the woods.
Wow.
yeah. And it keeps happening.
No. What if these conversations were supposed to be messages that when the time is right, you'll remember them? Could be
Yeah.
information that's important for you for in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
There's so much out there to that world than we know. With the Bigfoot, big feet. I say big feet. You say Bigfoot, it makes it sound like just one being.
Yeah.
Right. There's 2 feet.
Also, like a lot of these ancient stone mounds that we have out east and such that the settlers didn't know who made them. There's really not anything handed down to the tribal people on why they were made, outside of some say that the tribal people say they didn't make them, that they were built by the giants, that they were giants.
Oh, yeah.
And you get those stories just like Bigfoot from almost every tribe in North and South America, that there used to be giant people in the land.
Yeah.
Where some of the mounds even come from and such. And I don't know how true it is that some people talk about, like when they found a lot of these skeletons and such, that that museum comes in. I forget the name of the museum. Comes in,
Smithsonian
comes in, boxes it all up and covers it up, whatever and stuff. But it's another one of those things handed down orally through Native Americans, that there were giants in the land.
That's what I was told. The reason I had I keep having the experiences is because of my heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you believe?
Yeah, I think so. I actually had a very, very good friend of mine, psychic medium. When I first met her and was talking with her, she basically turned and looked at me and she goes, "You have a Sasquatch behind you. I believe he's your guide." And with me, it was like natural. It's like, yeah, okay. I could see that. I pondered on it for a little while, and and honestly, with the path I've taken, I've always believed they were there, but I never went looking for them until I joined a team and I was asked to. And it was once I decided to open up to that idea, all of a sudden the thoughts and the different things I've heard over the years with us natives being intertwined with them, I take more of the native look at it.
Yeah.
There's a 80-acre property up in Michigan that we've done a lot of research on, and a lot of research from the last 10 years has been done there, long even before I joined the team. My theory was, well, if he's in our culture, he's in our lore, he's in our history, then instead of going up there and knocking on trees and hooting and hollering like like normal does, I'm gonna go up there and play some drum music. So I downloaded some drum music songs. I went up, played a gathering song, welcoming, and a prayer song, and a tribal. And the first time, we had some things happen that kind of would be more along the paranormal track of things. The next time we went up, we tried it again at a different part of the property, and we had some pretty weird shit happen. You know, you between I don't know, 15, 20 feet away from us in the woods, which is thick. You know, you can't see, the thermal wouldn't shoot through the trees. You hear thump to one side and a thump on the other.
Hey, Jeremy.
And so we go into the woods to go looking, okay, what's making this noise? What's making this sound? And we looped around this whole chunk of this property, couldn't find a single thing that moved. We would have hit the deer if we would have found if it was a deer. If it was a bear, we would have came across him. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, but me and my partner freaking heard them noises coming from the woods right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did Nancy say?
And I'm jealous.
Oh,
I have
there's
asked
my
for
daughter.
a Sasquatch guide, by the way.
That's my daughter right there.
Like, sometimes soon, people.
Hello.
That's Tara right there.
That's Tara.
Yeah.
Nancy said, so not much actually scary, you guys, aside from people, live people, correct?
Correct.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, people are the
Yep.
most scary thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
really-
believe that.
Mhm.
I'd rather
people
deal
are
with
serious.
all the animals in the woods, all the cryptids and paranormal, you name it. I'll deal with them all day long. Dealing with people every day, that sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to work for a grocery store, so yeah.
I believe that. Yep.
Yeah, when I was younger, a lot of stuff might have been scary to think of, but once you start getting when it's happening, you're in the moment there. It's to me, it's not as scary as being brought up, with these BS scary movies and stuff like that, and whatever.
Right.
It's an actual world. The spirit world, that's not something that I just have faith in. I know it's there. I know it. I've experienced it.
Yes.
Firsthand, concrete. And it's to the point where, because like I'm talking with people, I'll never sit and debate or argue with people over spirituality. Because my spirituality is what I've went through, what I've experienced. That I know to be true. And it's never for me to prove it to anybody. I don't have to,
No.
Yeah. What we believe is what we believe. What you believe.
Yep.
Right.
In theory, the way I've always put it is, there's many different names to our creator. It doesn't matter what you call them, who you call them, her, it, whatever. Call it the universe, whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a creative force that has brought all this life to us.
Yeah.
That has
great mystery.
Exactly. Given the mystery. It is giving us this planet to live on.
Are you talking about a higher power?
Always.
My son, I don't know, 6 to 8 months ago, just blew his sound cracker. You know what I'm talking about.
Crown chakra.
Yes, wide open. Now he was just empath, and he just blew wide open, which is not good. And he thought he was going crazy, and I said, "No, you're not going crazy." Then his guide started talking to him, teaching him everything, and he said, "Mom, his name is not Jesus, it's Yeshua." I forgot how he's. What is it?
Yeshua.
Yep. That's what he told me. And all his guys have been teaching him. All kinds of stuff. And I tried to teach him back, but he wouldn't listen. So then I tell him things now, and he's like, I know. I said, how do you know?
He's downloading information.
They tell me. And then I try to teach him protection. He won't listen to me. Yeah. I try to teach him other things. My daughter won't listen to me. So she don't want no part of it. You're like, okay. So when I do protection, well, Kimmy's been helping me right now, but because of my situation. But when I was doing protection, I do it for my kids. To help them.
Yeah.
Until they listen.
Hopefully they listen enough to where they build that up, that they use it themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's part of all of us, that we're all meant to evolve, into, that person, that we can walk this path and not be derailed too long, at least from it.
Yeah. He
Um,
even
and
told
even
me.
we talked about people throwing the bad medicine and stuff.
Mm,
And I think you said something like, if you basically what it is, like, whatever you can throw anything at me you want, but my faith and my spirits are too powerful.
yeah.
It's like,
Right.
you better be very careful what you throw at me.
Yeah. He
Right.
sat here one day and said right here, and he said to me, Mom, he always knew I was gifted. He said, he always knew I was gifted. Now he is. He said, but at the same time, it's a curse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looked at me and he said, I blame you. And I said, hold
Mhm.
on, son. Hold on, son. You cannot blame me. This goes back hundreds of generations. This ain't from me. It goes way, 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 way back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he was telling me how, he even said this to me. I shouldn't say this on live. But he said, I'm a warlock. I said, do you know what that is, boy? He just
Tara
looked
said,
at me.
thanks, Ma.
He didn't say anything, but he said it. Yeah, see, my daughter.
Thanks, Ma.
But you know what though? Not all warlocks are bad. It's
No.
again that accountability.
No. He
Mm-hmm.
said that, but then he says, and he's telepathic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He said, I know what you said. I know what you said.
Nancy.
Go ahead.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
We got
I didn't
chats
wanna
going on
interrupt
over
you.
here.
Nancy had a question. What other cryptids have y'all seen?
Haven't yet. I'm waiting for my day.
Oh, you
I
haven't seen
wanna
any?
I wanna see chupacabra. I wanna experience time with a dog man. I'm open to all aspects of the unknown.
Well, you, Sean.
Thinking, cryptids. I had an experience with Bigfoot before. I didn't get to see him. He was throwing stones at me while I was in a pond to chase me out of there.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that no human could have thrown rocks that big from the shore to reach out. It was just to scare me off. If he had business there. She had business there. But as far as other cryptids, I can't say I've seen any. Still want to see other people. Got them around here too.
Another question from Arthur. In many paranormal investigation videos I've seen, it's common for investigators to become frightened and frequently run away at the initial encounter with paranormal activity. Why does this happen? And that would be a risk. That would be a risk question. Why? Right?
He's not an investigator.
So, all right, you gotta think when you're watching TV, they're there for entertainment value. Okay, so if you're watching a show and the investigator takes off running, that's ad hype. When you're watching YouTube, you can see that could be the hype, but also, right? Also, another thing you gotta realize, a lot of these people do this for the adrenaline, for they're adrenaline junkies. They do it for the fact that they want that experience, but when that experience happens, what they put out there, they get scared and turn and run away. Where your researchers and your real investigators, they go to it because they want answers and they want to be able to help whoever's there, if they need help. I'm the first one in my team to, dark, creepy basement, send me there. I'm actually been trying to get my team to go to Joliet down to the prisons. I want to go to these dark places
Wow.
to see what happens, to take data, to see how they interact. Because no matter where you go, you know, you can go one place that's known to be haunted, but you can have different experiences. It all
What's she
depends
say?
on who you are.
Kim, what did
Hmm?
she say?
Yeah, and as for the paranormal research, yeah, I'm not an investigator, but I'm a person who
Okay.
comes in and cleanses houses of spirits, whether it's helping people
Uh,
over or closing off, helping restless spirits move on. Um, or and sometimes there's some really, really nasty things that are going on that can't be explained other than just being evil. Um, as a person that does that, it takes an amazing amount of faith that to know that whatever that they do there, that I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be okay.
You know?
I've got the faith in my medicines, my tools, my spirit guides, everything there. And a lot of times these entities get so upset that you've come, they want you gone. They don't want you there because they know what you can do. But some who aren't trained in that aspect, you know, of the faith and the spirituality of it, become frightened. And of course, we've all grown up with scary movies and all the weird stuff you see on the movies. And it's nowhere even near the truth, you know. But it's having the faith that you can handle the situation with your spirit guide that keeps me. I mean, I'm never afraid. And I always thought younger, I'd probably be afraid if I was going through doing these things and stuff like that would happen. But I'm not afraid because I've had the proof that comes through that these things our medicines are powerful, our ways are powerful, that we have power over those things. And they're very upset, especially when somebody comes and they know that can get rid of them. Some of the most powerful ones I've had to deal with, and it always seems to come down to the same thing, is that somebody ended up in the home doing something they shouldn't have been doing, like playing with Ouija boards, trying to have a seance, you know, when none of them are, you know, have any experience and stuff, and opening up a portal doorway, actually, where these terrible things come through. And it's rarely the person that does it that gets affected. Most of the time, you see young children who are affected by it. You know, they come screaming down the hall, you know, because of something down there that nobody else can see or anything, or the doors keep opening and shutting and slamming, you know, all simultaneously at once, and it just seems very, very, very angry, very upset, and very just wanting to get the people out of it. You know, and so if you're not a person that doesn't have that faith in your spirit guides and your medicines and such, you're gonna fear for your own safety, you know. And I think a lot of people who get into the investigative stuff, you know, they're really not ready for the full thing, you know, when it really does happen, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's more like, you know, just maybe hearing some footsteps or some, that's all the thing that they're expecting, you know. But then when shit starts getting slammed and smashed against the walls and stuff, you know, because you're there, that's you know. But you know, it never stops me from finishing my duty. You know, so yeah, I think it's probably just lack of the training of the type that, you know, you got to be committed and ready for everything if you're going to be an investigator.
I
Right.
know Rez has to get off soon, so we're gonna end the show so we can talk to him backstage for a little bit. So thank you for coming on, everybody.
Anytime you want me.
Thank you for Shawn and RezNeck, and thank
Yay.
you for everybody watching.
Yep. Thank you all for
And we
tuning
will
in.
see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
You guys
Thanks
stay
for
on.
coming on.
Don't stay backstage.
Yeah, we'll be backstage. I'll put y'all backstage, play the outro, and then
Yep, we got you.
okay.
Okay. Take care.